At SafetyQuip, we're sometimes asked what the difference is between a self-retracting lifeline and a retrieval self-retracting lifeline. So this product here is a self-retracting lifeline. It's a full protection product and it's used with a harness. It's a line that's attached to the D-ring there on the back of the harness, and it's attached to an anchor point above, and the line draws down and it provides protection against a fall. So if a fall were to occur, if my mate here were to fall, that device would arrest the fall by way of locking on and arresting that fall. Now, the product is great in that the line retracts by itself up into the housing. So the line is always very short and likely to arrest the fall very quickly. But you're tending not to trip over the line because there's no like loose line that you're getting tangled up in. It's always self-retracting back up into the housing. So that's what we call a self-retracting lifeline. That's a 3M PROTECTA product. That's a Rebel unit. Now over here, this is a similar product. This is the Retrieval self-retracting lifeline. So it operates in a similar way. I've got this one attached to a tripod here for confined space use, but it could be, I probably should have displayed them together from an overhead anchor point so you can see see them close together, but this is a common application for this product. It can be attached from here though as an overhead mounting point rather than on a tripod leg like I've got here. However, the difference between the product is it operates in normal use. I'm using it as a backup device here. So I've got a person that would be lowered down into a pit or a tank or whatever below ground. Imagine there's a hole in the ground and this guy is going to get lowered down into that hole. I would use my primary device for getting the person down into the hole, in this case is this winch. So I'd wind the person down, and that fall arrestor is my backup device. So it's following them down, and if a fall was to occur, like say for example that winch failed, that device would lock on and arrest the fall. So it's my secondary backup device. However, if that person was down in a shaft or a tank or whatever, maybe a fair way down, and my winch has failed, I therefore can't use my winch to get the person back up again. This is where I use the retrieval feature of the self-retracting lifeline. So I can deploy a winch feature on this self-retracting lifeline so that it operates as a winch. Now to do that, so imagine that my winch has failed in this scenario. I'm going to flick that handle around. This is going to be my winch handle when I've deployed the winch. And to deploy the winch, I simply pull this pin and I engage that winch handle, and it's now operating as a winch rather than a self-retracting device. So that's the self-retracting lifeline with the retrieval capability. This one is the standard self-retracting lifeline. That's the difference between the two products. This one doesn't have the winch feature. Speak with the crew at your local SafetyQuip branch for further information on self-retracting lifelines or retrieval self-retracting lifelines. We'd love to assist.